Hi YouTube, I hope you're all doing good. I am having a okay day. I did some reading this morning. I was wondering last night, I wonder often about wars on this planet. It's always in that respect I would consider myself a leftist, because I've never believed in the war establishment in all these countries and what they stand for and the way they operate like that because normal people just don't think like that, and I never have. And then even with like same-sex marriage or whatever, I want people to be happy, and yes, who they love is important. When it comes to people involving the children and the stuff that they're mixing in with everything else that I believe in people's freedoms, then I draw the line. you know, that's kind of I was thinking too. It's like, well, I'll tell you about when I had thrown the refrigerator. I didn't tell you anything that led up to that, but I will state this, just so you know, because yeah, sometimes too much information for people is like too much, but and then people could come at you and think what they want. That part I don't care, but just keep this in mind. I have never ever done anything to a person unless they have done something to me first. And typically, I don't even do that. It takes a ton of stuff and actually somebody actually physically touching me first before I even consider anything like that. So just so you know that it's not really my personality to just combat somebody for no reason, just so you know that. So So anyway, this morning I got on the web and looked up how many times in the United States history have we had peaceful times. I came up with various answers to that. I mean, and then I asked questions out of all the presidents that held office. Um, how many were in war times? Well, I came up with answers like we had like somewhere in the world like 236 years of peace, somewhere 26 days without a war. Um, so actually, every single year in recorded history, there has been some kind of warfare, and even with the Cold Wars, and then people think, well, that America's never lost a war. Well, they say we lost Vietnam to North Korea and whatever. That wasn't even declared a war. It was illegal. We had no business in there. Same with Korea. And let's see what else. It's like the first invasions of the Americas, the uh, British and American wars, the Native and the United States. Pretty sick to say that they don't call it an invasion. They call it Indian and American War, you know. And just little things like that I learned this morning. I mean, I knew it anyway, but I just wanted to look it up and see if there actually was any written record of any president in our history that wasn't involved in some kind of war. And the answer is no. So, from what I could tell, I ran across a story. I did share it. That came out a day ago. There was this police officer, a 19-year-old man in the state of Georgia. And I'll like this just a sec, I'll tell you. I shared this in my community for you too if you're interested in it. Or I'll just tell you and you'll know. Well, anyway, this young man went in to be a police officer, and before he went in, people were telling him, oh, what a old soul type of person he was, and what good of a police officer he was going to be, and all that. But of course that's going to make you happy. So. But on his Facebook page a while back here, he had written what he believed, which is stated several times throughout the scriptures, that the marriage is between a man and a woman. So he wrote that, his beliefs, on his Facebook page. Somebody complained about it, and the head of the department, I don't know if it's like a sergeant or whoever, called him in and said, you need to remove this. He says, well, I'm not going to remove that because this is my belief as a Christian, and I'm standing up for God here and my beliefs, and I have freedom of speech. Well, they gave him paid leave for a week, and then they called him back in. And he figured, well, even if he did go back out on the job, that he wasn't probably in the best position with these people that didn't really agree with his point of view like that. So he resigned because they gave him the ultimatum. They actually went so far as to change um, uh, policies within their department to make it, well, not unlawful, but within their department to go against their policies, is what he did. And he would not conform to what they wanted to do. And so he quit. Well, I shared his information, and now I'm hoping that he gets to write a book, or a movie will be made about him, or whatever, because he was told, because he believed that marriage was between a man and a woman, that it was the same thing as calling somebody the N word. That's total bullshit. We all know that, you know? So it is not the same. Race and sexuality are not the same. They're two different subjects. Now, if I'm a woman of color, and um, if I were bisexual or something, still my race would have nothing to do with that. So them mixing that in, and then with the black culture and everything, more and more are likening themselves to what happened to the natives. There were Irish immigrants that were brought over here, that and English, that could earn their freedom by becoming an indentured servant for like 7 or 18 or 12 years, and then they would get their walking papers. Or if they were lucky enough to be married by somebody that was like in the colonies or something back in them days. It wasn't just, and there was hundreds and thousands of them just the same. But, and a lot of them ended up going west and working in the cattle industry as ranch hands and that type of thing. And I met a lot of those descendants. I know, well, I'm from all the blood I'm talking about. So, um, anyway, I just thought I'd kind of fill you in on what's going on. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about marriage and really how I feel about that, be it man or woman or same sex, which I really, in my heart, I don't believe in it. And I don't want children to see it or be around it. But to me, and if the children are involved, that still is an issue in my heart, but not enough to look down on somebody with hatred ever. I don't do that. Not even with, like I said, even if you were in drag and you were a friend of mine and you wanted me to come see your show, I'd come see you. I'd call you a flippin' clown. I'd give you a hug and I'd go on my way. But I still call you a clown. You know, that's me. So they'd probably say, yeah, I am. I'm a clown. Because see, that's what this it's not even just the far left is what I'm trying to get at, or the conservatives or the patriots or whatever you want to call yourself. It's this government trying to make us hate each other is the bottom line with all of it, because in communities, as long as children aren't getting hurt, in communities, people can work things out and function like that. I'm going to talk a little bit on marriage and my belief on marriage. And even in the scriptures where it was written like this man had so many wives or whatever, what if that's not true? What if they lied and they say like maid servants or, servants? And what if that's not true? I just thought I'd kind of throw that what if in there. But I will tell you this, that would have never have been me because number one, I'm not anybody's servant. And number two, I would never, ever share my relationship with another woman. Ever. I won't even let somebody touch me because he doesn't think right. You think I'd share my personal, my germs and my personal space with another woman like that? Men can't even take care of one woman, let alone two. And that is true. If you know, and I'm not talking about like your wife and your daughter or whatever. I'm talking about two wives. You really think you could do that? That's a flippin' joke. Not at the same time. Not on this world. Not any other world either, as far as I know. Mm-mm. And then, two, who in their right mind would want more than one spouse? Good Lord. Really. What if it's all a lie? What if people are reading into that what Satan wants them to read into it and it's not true? That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're supposed to question everything, and the language does matter. And once again, if people are not familiar that it's not wasn't written yes, it was pre-Hebrew, it was Arabic, it was a Syrian language, it wasn't Hebrew as the current language is being spoken, not at all. And taking out vowels and adding vowels to words totally changes the context. Oh yeah, it does. I would just kind of look at it like logically. Let's be logical, serious. Have you ever been around two men that want the same woman, or two women that want the same man? And it doesn't usually work out too good. If say like if it's two men that want the same woman and the woman is playing both of them, well, she should probably die. Or if it was two women wanting the same man and he was playing them, well, off with your head. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about that. And as far as people saying that they're married to the church or Christ, you're the body of Christ, and the wording was altered. People, if we look at things logically, it's probably a lot easier to understand without the chaotic, unnatural stuff that's they're trying to push and teach out here. That's not true. It doesn't make any sense, and it never will make any sense. You try and make a slave out of a woman. I mean, maybe some of them you can. I don't know. If I do something for somebody, and I will work hard because I care about them, but not because I think I'm anybody's slave. And when they try and treat me like that, and you're going to suffer the consequences. That doesn't work good with me, you know. So just don't inflate your egos so big that you think that there's two of anything, like two of the same sex that will want to be like two women with one man. Something's wrong in them women, and that man, you know, or vice versa. That's a fact. That's how the world operates. It always has. It always has. Even animals. I mean, even animals. Okay, I had an Irish setter that I was breeding that we had to induce him ejaculating because he did not want to have sex with that bitch. You know? So just, I guess, just because, people would say, well, like a dog will like screw anything, or it's like a pack of dogs, or they're wild, like a wild pack of dogs, or they have more integrity than a lot of people, is what I'm saying. You know, and it's true. It's a true thing. Or like a mare out in the mountains, and the stud comes up and he thinks he's all something and something, and that lead mare is the boss of that herd. Now, that breeding stallion may appear to be the boss, but if that lead mare wants to turn on him, a lot of the mares in that group are going to help her, and they'll run him off. There's a pecking order in families and in the wild that a lot of people haven't observed for themselves in all reality. The real stuff that's going on in the world, you know? I think you know. I just ran across somebody that thought he was kind of funny. And yeah, you're just kind of funny. Just kind of. Not really overly funny, but just kind of. About as funny as I am, you know? So that's for a friend of mine. So anyway, at least I think he's a friend. or he was a friend before, or until he does some more of this shit. So anyway, yeah, it's a good day. It is very cold out. It's 3 degrees, but the wind chill is just crazy. I went out there and feeding the kitties, and it was cold. I didn't bring wood in. It's like, no, I'm not going to. So I have gas too. I don't have to burn wood, but it's nice. It's then you don't hear the gas stove running all the time. So, but yeah. So yeah, I wasn't really surprised that the world has never been without war in recorded history. I guess like sometime in the 1400s or something, there was like till 1605 or something or whatever. So they said, but it was something like that. I'm just kind of like speaking off the top of my head, not actually. I was going to read a lot of it, but it really didn't matter because it boiled down to my first question: was there ever a time when we weren't involved in any kind of war in there or altercation? And there really wasn't, and isn't, still isn't, you know? Like there was a time, I think it was in the 70s, that we were having problems with the Ukraine, you know, because they were a part of Russia and still are actually, but we can't prove it because we know what they're okay. Why would we want to send tanks and money People can't even afford gas or to go to the store and buy their groceries. They can't get to work. They're losing their homes. They're losing their jobs. And we have some idiot pretending to care about the people in the United States, taking our money and supplying wars in another part of the world when the people in the United States are suffering. And they are. When you have to deplete your bank account, or you don't even have the opportunity to build a bank account, and somebody else is living off of your riches, that's sick. It's America first, people, not anybody else. You know, that's not including food. I'm saying food, if, and they're making it so we're not even the richest. How, it's like, when did Ukraine become the great provider of the world? When United States held that title right up until the Biden administration. And then all of a sudden, we're falling apart at the seams. We've always been self sufficient. None of this is real. You know, it's sick. Sure, the system is broken and there's not a lot we can do about it. But to remember that, yes, if I'm out here and I'm talking about the push to mutilate children and that type of thing, or for men to scream equality in women's sports or that type, or even in Miss Universe or whatever, then I'm going to say something because it's retarded. It is mentally unstable. Even a lot of people that dress in drag aren't going to sit there and argue with a woman and say, I am actually a woman, honey. They'd be like, I understand your point, hun. And I'd be like, well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And that's what normal people are doing out in this world. It's not what you see them trying to push, like some kind of hate between people, because that's not even there. I mean, maybe a small majority of weirdos are all full of hate and rage or whatever. Maybe they got molested or raped, you know, and maybe they hold some really bitter feelings or something, that's possible. And I could actually see that that would be a issue they need to work through, but an issue, you know. But it really isn't a right or a left thing. It's a God or a no God thing, you know. That is really what it boils down to. Do you actually love your fellow human beings, or are you just paying lip service to the um what's popular, like the popular trend, going along with what's trendy, like peer pressure, or are you actually digging within yourself with that love and saying, look, this is real, this is what reality is, you know, that we all do love each other. And it's the words that are being put out here by the mainstream media and the rest of these clowns that are making people that actually have love in their heart, making it look like we want to send each other to like work camps or something for the way they're thinking. And everybody's afraid of that type of thing in each other. That's no more of it. You know, it isn't like that. Now, if you involve the children, I don't even care if you make it to a camp. You get it? But anything else, hey, have at it. Have a nice life. I want you to enjoy your life, you know. Just don't inflict anything on anybody else, and we're all cool, you know. And I believe we are. And the system is broken, and the number one thing, the brokenness of the whole thing, is the war machine and the money put towards that. And these governing officials that never did care and they never will. Now, I had shared that thing about Donald Trump Sr., and I put on there, is it a psyop? Question mark. And somebody was like taking the time to tell me, that like, don't believe everything or whatever. I can't remember the exact words. It's like, isn't that just what I just said? But thank you for chiming in. I hope you feel better now. Jesus. Okay, then. Alrighty, then. How come you aren't making that video and letting me know about it? Thanks again. Because I read it the other day. That's why. And then I decided to put it up today in case people hadn't heard Trump's actual words. And I think it's important to hear how people are thinking, no matter what they're thinking. And I don't trust him. I mean, he's the one that ushered in all his warp baloney, and he's a priest of the Kabbalion. So, no, I don't trust him. No way. I don't trust any of them. So, well, sounds like I need another cigarette. This will bug some of you. There you go. Now, you can feel healthier than me, and I'm sure you probably are. Long life to you. When I go, I've lived enough. Okay. Yeah, that's a true story. Everybody has a shelf life, but people don't want to look at life like that. It's like, what's your expiration date? Did you ever think about that? Maybe. I imagine you have. Mine says um, past due. I think no, maybe not. Or it says a little bit stale, but has several uses yet. That's probably close. You know, not moldy though. I might have said that. I think I might have said I was moldy about a month ago. Yeah, well, scratch that. I'm not. Yeah, like I say, there's no fixing this broken system. The only thing I can see for the future that's going to be of any benefit for people is to gather in smaller communities and towns, and the barter system between all of us. And they're pushing us into that corner. They really are. I know they want to continue the money grab and keep printing it up and keep putting their thumb on the little people in this country, but that's the part that has to end. You deserve to have money in your bank account and feel financially secure without our government blowing up other countries and helping countries blow up other countries and putting armaments and all that money into it. And who's getting rich? It's the bankers, it's the arms dealers, or, the people that make all the weapons. These are the people that are getting rich right now while the American people suffer. And I'm not suffering too bad, and maybe some of you aren't either, but there's a lot of people that are. There's a lot of people that both of them work and they can barely make it. And that's where my concerns lie. They have every right to go after the American dream, which is maybe a house and some land, or at least, like nice vehicles and a warm place to lay your head that you can call yours. And they're trying to take all of that away from you. I'll leave you on a meme that I had read that was pretty funny. It was let's see, how'd that go now? Well, they say you will own nothing and be happy, and underneath there was this guy, and he said, I already own nothing and I'm happy. Your threats have no power here. So I'll leave you on that note. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Have a really beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.